Welcome to the second episode of Tuesday's Upset Forecast, powered by bookmakers.bet.
Every Tuesday, we break down sharp betting angles across football, basketball, and the NFL. 4 picks, 5 rapid fire predictions, all in less than 30 minutes.
But don't think that bookmakers.bet is just this podcast. You can visit our website. You can visit our X account, our TikTok, our Facebook, our Instagram for the latest news and to learn how to bet. So, my name is Dimitris Papas, well known as the editor-in-chief of the website, and my co-host, Lord BLT, Mr. Brad Thomas.
Yes, I am the one and only Lord BLT, named after a sandwich, bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes.
Yes. Last week was full of ups and downs, you know. It started really bad. First of all, it started with me bad-mouthing my favorite team and their coach. I think I shouldn't have done that. You know.
Yep.
I promise not to do it again, at least for this episode, and you will later understand why. But Liverpool cost us not one but 2 bets. I went with Lord BLT's both teams to score an over 2.5 goals. It failed. It's okay. Then I went with my Inter to win bet.
Brutal.
Shoot. But, what happened? Even in disaster, you can always find some gems. And we did it. Actually, you did it. But I will take credit for that because I support the team, blah, blah, blah. We did it. What did we win in this match, Brad?
Mr. Dominic Schloboschlei, 2+ shots, came through. And unfortunately, him coming through was the dagger in the Liverpool coffin because his second shot happened to be a penalty attempt that brought Liverpool up 1-0.
Well, okay. You win something, you lose something else. Liverpool with the 3 points. We go over to our next bets. Okay, you know what? I want to take a break here. I want to sit back at the moment, and I want you to analyze why the San Antonio Spurs are in the NBA Cup final.
The Spurs are in the NBA Cup final because of one thing. They played together as a team. Actually, I'd say 2 things. And the Oklahoma City Thunder had no answer to Victor Wembanyama. Wemby almost had a double-double, 20-point double-double in 20 minutes of action, and the Thunder were playing him with a 6'5" point guard. Never going to work.
Oh my God, I mean, we expected the Lakers to breeze past the San Antonio Spurs. Actually, that's what I expected, at least. We fell a bit off with Stephon Castle's injury report. I realized in post-production that he's actually playing, but okay, whatever. We'll get through it. You're Luka Doncic, you're LeBron James. You can win a Wemby-less, if that's even a word, Spurs, but they didn't. And then it's what you said, Brad. Wemby returned. And who's going to stop him? Chet Holmgren?
They didn't even have Chet on him. That was the embarrassing part. They had Chet in the corner afraid to play Wemby. Insanity.
My God. Okay, but we will go back to the NBA Cup later during our predictions. That's a spoiler. As the week went through, my picks started getting better. It's like the old wine that starts getting better. That's a nice metaphor. I love wine, by the way. Valencia dominated the FS. I mean, what's a EuroLeague team without their former NBA stars? And we saw Man City dominating Crystal Palace. They had a difficult first half yesterday in Selhurst Park. But when Haaland takes over, the match is over. How about
Yep.
yours, Brad?
NFL wasn't great. I got 2.5 points of CLV, but the Seattle Seahawks could not get the job done in golf. Honestly, Dean Burmeister played really good golf, but could not get the big prize for us as he only finished 8 under, needed a score of at least 11 under or better to get us there. But man, all those South Africans on the top of the leaderboard, I was right in theory that a South African who plays well in South Africa should finish inside the top 10. But I just picked the wrong South African.
Oof. But okay, you know what? You know what? This week we're going to do way better. This week we're going to win bigger. So, episode 2, let's get into it. Fourfold breakdowns and then the lightning peaks.
Well, I will start with the first one because I need redemption. And we're talking NBA Cup Finals. My Magic could not overcome the
Final.
Knicks. My Magic could not overcome the Knicks, and the San Antonio Spurs could not, knocked off the Oklahoma City Thunder, who was my pick to win. So we got Knicks versus San Antonio Spurs. And I'm going with probably the chalkiest bet on the board, and that's Mr. Jalen Brunson over 29.5 points. Jalen Brunson's odds are -110. Make sure you shop around. Jalen Brunson, what has he done in these last 4 games? Granted, he played Orlando twice. He has scored at least 30 points in 4 straight. 40 against Orlando, 33 against the Utah Jazz, and then another 30 piece and 35, one versus Orlando, one versus the Raptors. His field goal percentage in that stretch is a little north of 52%. In his last 2 games, he shot over 59% from the field, 59 and 68 respectfully. And I could say this is a great showing from him because one of those teams was the Toronto Raptors, a really good defensive unit where he shot 68%. And, he's done this in a variety of ways. When he played against the Raptors, he was elite from the field, 6 of 9 from the 3-point line. When he played against the Magic, only took 5 threes, only made 2 of them, but he was 6 from 9 from the free throw line. Now he has a matchup with either De'Aaron Fox or Stephon Castle. And, what's really intriguing about that is I don't think they can send Wemby in help too often. Why? Because you have Karl Anthony Towns, who's playing the 5 now, as opposed to playing the 4, which would be there for backside cuts. If you want to look at the advanced metrics and say, Brad, I don't like it because San Antonio Spurs only allow the 7th most points to point guards this season, Jalen Brunson is the best scoring point guard in the NBA. And if you think Jalen Brunson is going to take less than 25 shots in this game, you are out of your mind. There's only two ways that Mr. Jalen Brunson does not score 30-plus points or at least take 25-plus field goal attempts. One, foul trouble. Jalen Brunson did get in a little foul trouble against Orlando, but outside of that, he hasn't gotten foul trouble really since November 12th, conveniently playing against Orlando. And number 2, it is a blowout. But the San Antonio Spurs so far this season have been a team that have been difficult to blow out, and they've actually been a team that has been competitive and fast-paced throughout the entire NBA season. So for me, it's Jalen Brunson goes hard in Las Vegas. A little funny added tidbit to Jalen Brunson going hard in Las Vegas. The night before the Orlando Magic game, it is rumored that he was out until 2 or 3 a.m. at the Las Vegas nightclubs and then still dropped a 40-piece on the Orlando Magic. So I'm taking Jalen Brunson over 29.5 points.
Jalen Brunson, our guy. Our guy. You know what, Brad? I'm going to be the one that says, I like it.
Let's go.
And it will happen. Okay, I'm a well-known MFFL. That's Maverick Fan for Life for the Ignorance. I know what Jalen Brunson can do. The whole world can the whole world knows what Jalen Brunson can do. He cooked the Orlando Magic. And yes, I do expect him to cook San Antonio's backcourt when the time comes. So I'm going to agree on that. Uh, what's the decimal odds for that? It's 191. Now, from the NBA Cup, we're going to come back to Europe. We are going to go to the United Kingdom, and we are going to deal with Premier League's next match day, which is on the weekend. We're going to Tottenham Stadium, where Tottenham are going to lose to Liverpool.
Okay.
Yes, they are. You heard me. I've done a complete 360 turn since the last podcast, and I'm justified to do this, I guess, with average odds of 205. Now, listen, it's obvious that Liverpool have started getting back on track. They have 2 consecutive wins without conceding a single goal, and we're talking about some top class offenses of Inter and Brighton. Don't underestimate Brighton. I've done it many times this year. It never pays off. Okay? Also, Hugo Ekitike is on lethal form at the moment. He's on lethal form with 4 goals in his last 2 Premier League matches. And when I saw him starting alongside Alexander Isak, he's very, very, very helpful. Their playing styles match so well together. Liverpool are finally creating chances. I mean, they were always creating chances, but they were not so efficient as when they found this partnership. On top of that, Mohamed Salah's situation finally looks to be resolved, which is a huge plus for the team. After some mutual statements with Arne Slot, Mohamed Salah, I don't know, kissed and made up a bit. Who knows? Who knows what happened? Mohamed Salah is heading off to the Africa Cup of Nations. That means that the team will finally be able to find their balance. And I'm not talking about the on field only. I am talking about dressing room stuff. You know how much I love dressing room stuff as well. The backstage is what intrigues me the most. And to support my pick, I can also say that Tottenham are in pretty mediocre form. Okay, we're not going to examine what happened against Slavia Prague because who cares about a home Champions League match against Slavia Prague? We're going to examine what happened on Sunday. 3 goals against Nottingham. 0.37x goals for. 6 shots on target against. Do you want more? I got more. I got more. Tottenham latest results against top 6 teams. The derbies, because if you cannot win a derby, you can go home. You have 3 losses, Tottenham. You have 3 losses you lost against Arsenal. You lost against Aston Villa. You lost against Chelsea. You are going to lose once again to the Reds.
Well, well. 2 teams that are very untrustworthy, Tottenham and Liverpool. I actually going to say I agree. It's a big difference betting on Liverpool at minus 125 versus maybe plus 105 at this point on American odds. I like your bet, and I think I might tail you. I'm down to fade this Tottenham team. It's not a good team. They struggle to score goals, and they're not as defensively sound as probably Thomas Frank wants them to be. But that said, let's move over to the NFL. We are going to go with the Las Vegas Raiders at the Houston Texans. Houston Texans opened last week around a 8-point favorite. And what did they do while losing their starting running back? They went on to dominate. They dominated on both sides of the ball. It's an offense that really wanted or needed contributions out of Nico Collins. and a defense that wanted to continue to put their foot on the throat of the opposition. And they did exactly that. Covered and won that game. Now they are a 14-point favorite against the Raiders, a Raiders team that may or may not have Geno Smith, but I really don't care if Geno Smith plays or not. Why? Because in that 40-20 blowout win against the Arizona Cardinals, they were dominant. They held the Cardinals to a 6.1 explosive play rate. They allowed a 0.22 EPA per play metric to the Arizona Cardinals, and they allowed less than a 47% success rate. Offensively, I said they were dominant, and the numbers really don't do it justice. They scored 40 points, and they only had a 9.4% explosive play rate. Why do I say it doesn't do it justice? Because their explosive plays came when they were dominating in Europe early, and they really slowed the pace of the game down. Now they play a Raiders team who might be without Geno Smith. They're probably going to have Kenny Pickett, but it doesn't matter. This is a team that ranks 31st in offensive EPA. This is a team that ranks 30th with a 38% offensive success rate, 30th in pass EPA, 32nd, in rush EPA, while having the highest picked back in their backfield. They also stink on third downs, 35% third down conversion rate, playing against the number one defense, a defense that's first in EPA per play, third in success rate, first EPA per pass, and third in third down conversion percentage. So if Kenny Pickett's under center for the Raiders, what's the Raiders' recipe for success? Run the ball with success and complete short passage for easy completions. Well, we just talked about the Texans being third in defensive success rate, 15th in defensive success rate against the run. But I don't really care about that. We talk about them being first in EPA per pass. What's more important is they are holding opposing quarterbacks to a 58% completion percentage, second in the NFL. You think Kenny Pickett's going to have an easy time? Not only with this secondary that's going to be smothering the wide receivers, but a defensive front that's going to be living in the backfield? I don't think so. Even if Woody Marks is not slated to go, which I think he will because it looked like maybe just an ankle injury that could need like a couple days, Johnson showed that he could pick up the slack. I like them to win this game. And if you want to be brave, play the alt line of minus 20.5.
You know what? I'm going to go straight to the cashier with your bet and get paid. That's the only comment I have for this one. All right? So, and for pick number 4 of our full analysis, I am going back to football, the one that you play with your feet. I won't say the real one, I'm not provocating at the moment. And I'm going to one of the most ridiculous, in my eyes, competitions of the whole calendar, which is the FIFA Intercontinental Cup. A few words about this, That's a real weird competition because it's a competition that hosts how many? 6 teams? And they play 3 or 4 finals, Challenge Cup, African Asian Cup, Pacific Asian whatever Cup, Greek American Cup, I don't know, whatever. So I'm going to the final of this competition. Arguably, the 2 best teams play against each other. We're having the European champions PSG against the South American champions Copa Libertadores winners. I've been rehearsing it all day long. Flamengo. And I'm going to bet on more than 2 goals, over 2.5 totals, to be scored with an average odds of 1.85. You can complete the American ones afterwards. But I'll tell you why I'm betting on this. I'm betting on this because PSG, as of late, they seem to be a bit relaxed. They seem to be a bit off. If you watch their latest game against Meds on Saturday, They conceded 2 goals to a literally Sunday league team. I don't wanna open a beef with Meds fans, but whatever. Also, Flamengo has shown that they can contribute. They have scored in each one of their last 12 games, including a Copa Libertadores final against Palmeiras, uh, where they actually crushed their opponents despite that 1-0 loss. And I'm going with history here. This is the end of here. The holiday is coming.
Yep.
Teams teams are thinking of this match as I don't know, more of a festivity, if I can say so. We have seen the last three finals between European and American teams. I'm saying American or Arab teams because I think that Al Hilal was there
Yep.
once. Pachuca was always also there against Real Madrid. These last three finals involved more than 2 goals. We saw Manchester City scoring 4 against Fluminense 2 years ago. We saw Real Madrid versus Al Hilal. They're still scoring out there, 5-3 or something. So, even though PSG are the favorites to win their fifth title this year, I'm going to give Flamengo a chance to at least score once, because if they score once and no shenanigans are involved, PSG are going to win with a 3-1, 4-1, 3-2, something like that, and we are going to get our bet won. What's your thought on that?
PSG and goals are a match made in heaven. They have
Yes.
the attack to dominate, but also have been oft leaky in the back. So I'm down for some goals.
Yes. And Flamengo are no farmers either.
Yep.
They have some world-class Brazilians at the moment. So okay, that these were our four full analysis picks. Make sure to visit Bookmakers Bet and shop for odds.
Good betters shop for our odds, but you know what? It's time for the quick hitters. 5 picks, one-liners, in and out. It is the lightning round. And I, Brad Thomas, am going to start first. Alabama Crimson Tide, my Alabama Crimson Tide, Roll Tide, going to Oklahoma to take on the Oklahoma Sooners in the first round of the college football playoffs. And I'm taking Jeremy Bernard over 56.5 receiving yards. Bernard is the go-to weapon for the Crimson Tide. And there could be about 15-mile-per-hour wind, and this is a really stingy defense. So how do you get your passing game going? Short routes, screen passes. That is Jeremy Bernard. That is his role. He is the trustworthy hands to get the job done. I like him at over 56.5 receiving yards.
From college football to the EuroLeague again. So I'm taking Barcelona to win in Paris against Paris basketball at 202 odds. Now listen to me. Barcelona are red hot at the moment. They have 5 straight wins with Xavi Pascual. Paris have 4 straight losses. They have conceded more than 90 points in the process, with their lowest point is conceding 125 against Monaco. What's that? Is it the NBA? No, it's Paris basketball defense. Back to you, Brad.
I am going to a fun game, Tulane Ole Miss. A game in the college football playoff. I'm going to another player prop, and I'm taking Jake Retzlaff, the quarterback for Tulane, over 30.5 rushing yards, minus 110. This number is probably going to get bet up to about 35, 38 before game time. So regardless, we'll get CLV. In that first match, the blowout, 41-10, maybe, where Ole Miss dominated Tulane. Retzlaff still rushed for over 40, 50 yards. If they want to be successful, they are going to have to get Retzlaff involved, and he's going to have to stay upright, which means avoiding sacks, which are negative yards in college football for the quarterback's rushing total. I like Retzlaff to get it done.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go beat off the books. I'm going to a Farmers League, which is Conference League. And I'm going to bet on a draw, on a very, very convenient draw in Omonia vs Raco. 330 odds. So these two teams first of all, are equal in strength as most of the teams in Conference League. And the way standings are formed, a draw can help both of them meet their targets. I mean, Rakow can solidify their place in top 8, and Omonia can just qualify to the next round. I'm going with a draw.
I'm going to go with my next pick, and I'm going to Juventus versus Roma. My favorite team, the old lady. I'm taking Roma, though. Double chance, which means if they win, you win. If this is draw, draw. I have to take this because I do not trust Spalletti and this Juventus team. While they picked up a massive 3 against Bologna, this is an unorganized team. And I think Roma know that all they need really is one goal in this match, and they can keep Juventus out of the back of the net twice. Dusan Vlahovic is surely missed by this team, even though Jonathan David got on the score sheet, turned into an old goal. I think Roma gets at least 1 point in this match, and it's plus 105. Give me the value.
Wow, and you're wearing a Juventus shirt, you traitor. Okay, so our 4 picks with full analysis are in, and the Lightning picks as well. To conclude, we're betting on Jalen Brunson to score more than 29 in the NBA Cup final. We're betting on Liverpool to win against Tottenham. We're betting on the Texans to cover a 14-point spread against the Raiders. And we're betting on the Intercontinental Cup final. More than 2 goals to be scored.
Well, as in this week, we will keep track of everything. Wins, losses, heartbreakers, all of it.
And since this show is made for you, we want you to tell us what sports or markets you want more of. You can hit us on X, you can hit us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find our verified sportsbooks at bookmakers.bet. And you can find all those links in the footer.
And remember, to bet a winner, you gotta feel a winner. And to feel a winner, you gotta be a winner.
Don't forget to bet responsibly. Win big. Till next time.